Hi everyone, welcome back to the Harbinger VC podcast. Today we have joining us Ling, or Fan 老师 as we call him, the founder and CEO of Tezign. We had our initial conversation with Fan 老师 back in the fall of 2017, and since his company has grown from 30 to nearly 200 people. So we're very excited to dig in and understand what's happened at Tezign and in the broader China market since that time. As a refresher for our audience, Tezign is a digital platform for creative talent and content resources based in Shanghai. It provides two primary solutions for large global brands. A creative supplier platform, so essentially matching projects and companies with the right designers and creatives, as well as a digital asset management data intelligence solution. So let's hear more from Fan 老师. So Fan 老师, thanks so much for joining us. I know we had a conversation back in fall of 2017, so it's been about 18 months. A lot has happened with Tezign since that time. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you worked on since 2017, and also tell us just a little bit more about Tezign so our readers have a good sense of your company.
Hello, Adam. It's good to catch up again. It's been almost like 2 years since we talked last time. We have three, I think, major development in terms of the company. First, that we've been very much focusing on serving large enterprise right now. So 90% of our revenue comes from large enterprises. Like Alibaba, Tencent, Unilever, Starbucks. So I think we proved that a startup like us could actually work with large enterprise. And the second development is that we have multiple product line. Before we only have a platform, and now we have a digital asset management and also artificial intelligence. Digital asset management means that we help our clients to manage all their creative and marketing vendors and also their creative and marketing contents. And the AI part is that by using the content data our clients put on the platform, we are able to reuse those data to generate multiple creative outcomes through artificial intelligence. So our engines developed very, very quickly in the past few months. If you open Taobao or even in the offline airports, you probably could see some of the contents that we developed through AI. So that's the second development. And the third is that in terms of the company, we grow to almost 200 people right now. And every 8 months we double our team, which means that more and more opportunities came to the company, and more challenging in terms of managing a company that grows this quick. So that's the three major updates.
Yeah. So a lot going on. I remember when I visited last time, I did this interview, it was about 30 people. So now it's about 200, you said?
Almost 200.
Okay. We've changed like 3 offices since then, so quite a bit of growth. So in terms of your business, you mentioned that you're not just like a matching platform, but you're more of a DAM, and also there's AI and other elements these days. But again, for our audience's benefit, can you tell us a little bit more about how you service your current clients? What does the solution look like? What does the team that you offer look like? Can you share a little bit more about that?
I think one of the big change in the past 2 years in Chinese business landscape is that a lot of the clients that we work for, they are either 2C platform or 2C brands, 2C platform like Alibaba, 2C brand like Starbucks. And the challenge for them in Chinese market is that the market size seem not growing as quick as before. So it's more when they sort of want to develop themselves, they look more internally. They see how technology, how data, how artificial intelligence or business intelligence will help them to run their business more effectively. So they invest more money, not just on doing digital transformation strategy, but actually doing digital transformation. So for instance, company like Unilever, they build this internal digital asset management system that manage all their decision making in terms of marketing and also all their product development in order to have better product development cycles. I think all these give a lot of opportunity to us when they are really adapting digital transformation instead of just digital transformation strategy. They want quick iteration. They want partners with growth mindset. They want partners willing to take risk with them and change flexibly with them. So that gives a startup company like us a lot of opportunities. I think that's a very big shift. They want us to take more responsibility and go deeper into their core business.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, definitely seeing a lot more of that happen in China. From a investor perspective, you're right. The 2C side was very hot, but as traffic got more expensive, as some of the low-hanging fruit became less obvious, there's a lot more emphasis, even from an investor perspective, on anything 2B or GFO focused. Just to dig a little bit deeper on your product and solutions. So let's say if I'm Alibaba or Starbucks, what does the team from Alibaba look like that works with your team? What is the exact solution they use? What does that dashboard look like? And some of the other tools that you mentioned, just for our audience, clearer understanding.
For Starbucks or Unilever, all these sort of more traditional brands, we're mainly working with three departments. One is marketing departments. All these companies spending a lot on marketing. Even the product development process, like developing avocado flavor shampoo, driven by marketing people. So marketing department work with us very deeply. And the second is that we work very closely with the procurement team. The procurement team set up the rules and what kind of vendors can come in and what would be the rule to choose a vendor. And the third is that we normally would work with the innovation team as well. The innovation teams be in charge of how to aggregate data for all these brands, aggregate data in terms of internal data or consumer data. So normally we need to leverage all three departments or three teams together. And what we help them is really to building, I call it infrastructure for growth for them, because all these three departments, they used to communicate to be honest, very little. And with the right infrastructure, that all the information decision making can be on the same platform, they're able to actually talk to each other. And this would be something that we offer, a digital asset management that to help the data to be transparent among the teams and the decision making to be transparent among the teams, and the standard will be transparent among the teams. So with that, or their decision making could be more effectively happen, and then they can rather very quickly respond to the market change. For companies like Alibaba or Tencent, it's slightly different. They are internet companies, so they are not looking for a solution that change their existing IT infrastructure. They are looking for a resource pool that can adapt the diversity, the diverse needs that they need as a platform. So basically, they're handling more than half of the Chinese population. So this is a very diverse group. Before, the suppliers are probably focusing on one expertise or the other. By tapping into the resource pool like we have, they are actually able to find a more precise supply side for all kinds of their needs. So for them, it's more like connecting the two platforms together. I really like a quote that Alibaba CMO Chris Tong used to describe Tezign. He said, a platform like Taobao or Tmall, that its problem needs another platform like us to solve. And an ecosystem like Alibaba ecosystem needs another ecosystem like us to sustain. So I guess for a platform client, they need another platform to solve their problem and sustain their needs. I guess that's the second way that we work with.
Yeah. So you mentioned that they really evaluate your resource pool of creatives and designers. So currently, how many creatives are within that resource pool, and how are they spread out across the world?
Sure. So for us, because we're working with a lot of large enterprises, so we our resource pool includes designers, creative, marketers, etc. And we normally would not include like part-time individuals. So our resource pool are pre-qualified smaller suppliers that really focusing on one specific expertise. So right now we have more than 40,000 suppliers globally. So we have people who actually are top graphic designers or graphic design studios, or we have someone that do the first 8 minutes show for Winter Olympics. So very famous one. Also, we have long tail ones that can handle daily jobs, that can manage over 1,000 e-commerce banners a day. So really sort of a diverse group of suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
And about 80% of them currently locates in China or can speak Chinese, and 20% global. And their range geographically, it covers Europe, Asia, United States, and Australia.
Got it. So again, based on my understanding, you have this large resource pool. You have the digital asset management piece that you guys have been developing. You're addressing large companies primarily, whether it's a CPMG or internet company. So there's a lot that you're working with. I'm curious, as you build increasingly more of a SaaS solution, how much hand-holding is there? Like when you're working with a large client, how much of it is just them using the tool? How much of it is customer service from your end? That's either just online resources or some sort of troubleshooting, or do you guys have an account management team to really help them use the resources and the tools as well?
Sure. So maybe first zoom out a little bit. We start give one client as an example. We start working with Alibaba in 2017 on one or two projects. So they start to know our model. And then in 2018, we start systematically working with them. And the revenue we get from Alibaba in 2018 compared with 2017, we increased for 20 times growth. And we're expecting this year another 5 times growth. So which means that Alibaba start working with us every year for more than 1,000 projects. And with more than 1,000 projects, probably leveraging thousands of suppliers, that is start to curious how we can manage all those projects and suppliers at the same time. So they're start to curious about our IT infrastructure, sort of the SaaS model back, the module part. And in that sense, they go deeper, not just by working with us on project base, but start to adapt that SaaS model or by buying the modules. And this is why we extend our service from providing a solution for project to providing a SaaS model.
Yep.
So that's the reason. And we have this kind of clients probably in 2017 that are working with us for more than 1,000 projects. We have about 10 clients like that. And second step, but the core for us is that we have all those supplier data, the creative supplier and marketing suppliers data, and then we have engines that can process the data, so we know who they are, what kind of work they can do, and what kind of a business problem they can solve. So we basically can put the right supplier in the right place, right? And then that supply that engine on top of that, it's all these kind of application on our website, and so for some of the clients we sort of packaging the whole thing and deliver the result to them. So we compete with traditional service providers like advertising agency. But sometimes like Alibaba or Unilever, when they work with us for 1,000 projects, they start to curious the whole system. So they will buy the SaaS into their company and to use our SaaS model, our SaaS solution to actually not just managing the resources on our platform, but also all the resources they have in this sector. Really, this how we serve those clients really depends on the level of collaboration that the clients trust us. So for the business, for project-based model, we need to deliver at least as good as traditional services. So we have account team that use our platform. Normally our account manager capability is about 4 times as a traditional service provider. They handle 4 times as many projects as traditional. But for the SaaS model, we probably would be very lean. We have one customer success manager serving that group of clients. So this really depends on which solution they adapt to.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense now. So I was thinking the project-based model typically we compete against other agencies. Some of these are very large, like WPP or others. They have very large teams, and I imagine the companies, the marketing team doesn't really always talk to the designers directly. So they just like things getting taken care of. So it seems that you do have an account management team, which is smaller than a typical agency because they're actually using your tools internally to do this more efficiently. Is that correct understanding?
Probably not more, very small, but more efficient.
More efficient.
So we about 1/3 of our staff are directly related to client needs.
Got it.
But this team scales not as quick as our business.
Right.
So their efficiency doubles every year. Last year probably they are 3 times more efficient than the traditional solution, and this year we are aiming 6 to 8 times more efficient than the traditional solution. And our revenue growth every year is about 4 times. Including if we count on the efficiency of the account service, which means that we don't need to scale the team proportionally to our revenue growth.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned CPMG companies, you mentioned internet companies. What about these large agencies? Can they also buy your SaaS solutions? It seems like you guys are using it internally yourself, right? Like they should use it to be more efficient too.
I mean, I do respect companies like Ogilvy or WPP. They've been the pilot in this industry for over half a century. However, I have to say that even a lot of them are experts in digital marketing. But actually, if you look at their financial report, they actually don't have any, not too much allocation in terms of IT or R&D. So even though they know our technology will be able to help them, they don't have the budget to buy our technology.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge problem for them. But we do look for extending into more industries. For instance, we are going to extend to financial services this year. We're going to extend to financial services this year. We're going to extend to automobile next year, lifestyle this year, food and beverage this year. So whoever's clients are consumers and have a big budget on marketing, those industries would be our target.
Got it. So is the typical entry point the project-based solution, and then you move to the SaaS model? Like how are you trying to convert the potential customers?
I think that's the advantage actually working in this sector. No company would just hire one marketing suppliers. They probably want a lot of suppliers, especially when their market start to be more and more fragmented. They actually want different suppliers that could handle different purposes. So we are able to get into any companies that we want to with 1 or 2 trial projects. So they could start working with us with very small projects that probably could be as small as 2,000 RMB. But when they start working with us, they need to go through all this procurement system. So we are able to get into the procurement. And then when we get into procurement, we're able to get more and more projects because we're allowed to, right? So our sales team will start to get more and more projects. So give you one number. One client start from 2,000 to 2 million, probably take us half a year. And then when they get to 2 million, they start to curious how we can handle such diverse projects, small, big, and quick and slow, offline and online. They started curious how we can do it. And then we start to tell them where we could do a digital asset management. We have all the system, we have all the sort of technology and data and process, how to process those data and how to manage 100 projects, even 1,000 projects at the same time. And then they start to curious. And then when their mindset's ready, the DAM, the digital asset management, start to get into their radar.
Got it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure how many figures you can share, but I'm curious as to how much of your work is project-based versus the DAM, and like, how are you shifting things over to that?
Right now, in terms of contract value, last year, 70% are project-based and 30% are module-based, SaaS-based, and that's contract value. But remember, we launched a product at the last quarter of last year, and right now we have probably 5 pilot clients that we start to work with, and we don't even have a sales team yet on that. So I do see a huge growth could happen in the digital asset management and also the AI generation part. I do see a huge potential there.
Got it. Let's get to the AI piece in a little bit. Just to round out the DAM piece, could you tell us a little bit more about the product itself, the technology? Like there's a dashboard, there's like matching for your creative resources. Like what else? What kind of other features does it have? So our audience can have a better sense of what that looks like in case they want to use it.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
So digital asset management, we basically have 3 major parts. First is that for companies that with multiple brand or multiple BUs, we have a centralized resource library that all the creative marketing resources, like as small as a e-commerce banner, as big as probably an offline campaign, a holistic campaign, would be installed into this resource library, and then will be automatically tagged or labeled through the system. So anyone could search and could find and could download the resource if necessary. And the second is that all the creative and marketing suppliers, normally like in Unilever, probably 1,000 suppliers, what kind of work they can do and what kind of work they did in this sector, and what's the common from different BUs, marketers that have been working with the suppliers. All this data would be centralized and managed at the same place, and there would be a ranking system and also a credit system. So that's a supplier management piece. And then the project workflow will also go into this digital asset management. The third piece is the project asset. So I like the way that how Unilever positioned us. They said us as a marketing operation system. So basically, their marketers come into the office. First thing, open their computer, and the second thing, log on to our system. And then so normally they spend 3 hours, 4 hours a day on our system to look for all kind of their resources. And some companies even include the 4 part, which is the product development process into this DAM. Because for them, brand and the product are equally important for the marketer. So whether a company needs to develop a avocado flavor shampoo is a marketing decision. It's not a product decision. So marketers drive the product development. So they need to see the product development cycle also be part of the marketing resource. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's quite comprehensive. Offers a lot of features, and seems to provide quite a bit of efficiency. So let's talk a little bit more about the AI piece of what you work on. So I remember last time you mentioned you can help generate banners very efficiently. So instead of like building like one banner, you can have thousands done pretty quickly. You also mentioned using previous assets, so like stuff that you built before, being able to rearrange or build new design pieces based on existing resources. Can you tell us a little bit more about that part?
Sure. When you think about the clients, the consumer part becomes more and more fragmented. You have to have personalized content in order to engage them when you do marketing. And the second part is if our clients are using our system to manage all their creative and marketing resources. So the data is already there. So you have the consumer data and the supply side data as well. And then now can AI actually reuse all those supply side data and then to fit into everyone's individual preference, every consumer's individual preference? That becomes a challenge. So it's a very natural extension when you have a digital asset management. You want to reuse those digital assets through AI. And so that's the technology we develop. Basically, we have two things. One is that we have an infrastructure part that basically we build a data set. We're going to make it open source, hopefully at the middle of this year, called DesignNet. Basically, with this data set, machine will be able to understand creative aspect of the information of a content. So ImageNet sort of teaches the machine how to read an image. And we are trying to use our data set to teach a machine how to read design. So they know what's the font, what's the content, what's the style, what's the emotion, what's the color combination. And then with that, we can decipher the design process. And then so for each business situations, e-commerce is definitely one of the most widely used ones because it needs a lot of personalized content. So we could recombine the digital assets. So for our AI system, it doesn't look like AI-generated content. It looks like still like humanly designed materials, but just using AI to recombine them to tell a personalized story. So our generative result would be more humanly centered, humanly friendly. So that's sort of what we do. We are able to do e-commerce. We're working with a few companies that very offline heavy, so we do offline advertisement as well, and then we are trying to extend that to more territories later.
Got it. That's really fascinating. And are you thinking about that as a separate line business in the future, or is it kind of a new value add feature for your DAM?
It's actually similar to what we described. If you think of the core of Tezign is remain the same, but different clients probably some clients will buy project based, some clients will buy SaaS based. So it really depends on the clients. So for us, selling the AI part is similar. Some clients want us to do 1,000 banners a week. No human designers could finish 1,000. Yep. So we do human computer collaboration. But they still pay 1,000, so they pay by result, to pay by project. That's okay, right? When they start to trust us more, they feel like they want to adapt the whole system. Like Garden Country, the largest real estate developer in China, they trust the whole system. So they work with us to build their internal design artificial intelligence system. So that's very deep, technological.
Got it. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, start with the design creative piece, take up marketing. It seems like you guys are, you guys have a really good product that's quite focused right now, but the potential pie could be a lot bigger. And I think that when you guys started, it was, I think people thought of it as like a freelance platform connecting designers, but you're clearly quite different from that. So I mean, we don't have too much time. I want to ask a little bit more about your organizational development, because from 10 to 30 people, 30 to 200, and you said double was it 2 months or every 10 months?
No, every 8 months.
Every 8 months, not 2 months. Like, how do you manage that?
It's a difficult challenge, actually. I think that when the company is getting bigger, the challenge is not how to sustain the business. It's actually how to sustain people on the same page internally. So I mean, this is a huge challenge. Before we were anti-hierarchy, we're anti-structure, we are anti-meetings. But right now, I start to learn more and more how to be more efficient in terms of a leader and an organization. Everyone, how this 200 people will understand what they need to contribute, right, and how they would develop internally. So we set up an organizational development department that's been in charge of building the structure of the company, building the culture of the company, and also building the training program for the company. So I think that we deeply believe, we are we because of all of us. So we need to help every one of us to develop, including myself. So that's something that we do differently since the end of last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really great to hear that. And I think there's plenty of differences between China and the U.S., perhaps other markets. Not to generalize, but I think traditionally perhaps Chinese companies tend to be very strong founders and then kind of very top down, and then the quality level sometimes kind of falls off a cliff towards the middle management or lower levels. It just kind of happens that way. And when you hire very fast. And in the U.S. it's a little bit different because most of the great founders we want to hire great teams and give them ownership to become future leaders of the business. So I feel like mentality sometimes can be different. So it's really quite refreshing to hear that Tezign has this approach. And as China develops further, becomes more globalized, I feel that that'll not just be a rare thing, but companies need to become like that in order to develop the next generation of leaders. So really glad to hear that. One more question. This is kind of more taking a step back, not about Tezign necessarily, unless you want to talk about Tezign, but just how does it fit into the overall context of again B2B, SaaS, right? There's a lot more support of that entire sector or sector these days. It also comes down to who your investors are. How do you choose your investors? Do you really believe in B2B? Some Chinese investors again are much more comfortable with consumer stuff, and also their timeline is a little bit shorter. So when you're thinking about growing further and finding the right investor, how do you think about the right partner to work with?
First, I feel very lucky to have all my current investors. But before that, I would say something bad about the investors I met but didn't dare to make the investment. I think the biggest challenge for us is that it's hard to find, first, to see investments has been developed very maturely in the past 10, 20 years. At first, it was a copy to China model. Whatever you have in the United States, copy a model to China. But gradually, you see a lot of the Chinese models come in. And to see investors becomes more confident in investing in China model. For instance, O2O or bicycle sharings, etc., etc. I guess to be investors, the ones I met probably are sort of repeating this process, but 10 years late. So right now they're looking for, most investors probably looking for a model that's have been proven in a mature market like the States. If you're a Chinese sales force, you're lucky. The investors probably understand you. So for us, the challenge is that we can't find an exact the same model proven successful in the States. So for the DAM, we probably can see we're overlapping with Adobe Experience Cloud, which is a very successful company. And for the AI part, I would argue that China is more advanced than the States. And for the by project base, it's also hard to say. In the States, you have Upwork, you have a lot of freelancer management system or marketplace. But in China, what we do is very, very different from just freelancer management. We're working with large enterprise, and our suppliers on the platforms, they are small businesses. They're not freelancers. And in China, if you're doing transactional-based marketplace, it's hard to get the transactional fee. So I guess all these sort of make Chinese landscape, I would say, would be similar to see it will have a Chinese model. It won't have a pure copycat. And that's a challenge for the investors. If they are not able to see a success model that's been duplicated, how can they convince their LPs or convince themselves to do the investment? So that's why I say I'm very lucky to find my investors. Our angel investors like Ling Venture, Trubic Venture, they are very strongly believe what they invested in. I think that's important. And our Series A, we have Sequoia that look at the whole landscape and willing to make the bet, even though when at that time our revenue is only $500,000 RMB. And our Series B, we are able to partner with Hearst Venture. Hearst, is one of the biggest and oldest media company in the world. And they're the brands or the clients that trust their media is exactly the clients that would trust Tezign. And then we also have individual investors like Skip Battle, who's the founding partners of Accenture and the board of director at Netflix, LinkedIn, and OpenTable, who has been this kind of mentor for CEOs. I feel very lucky to have him as my investor, and David Chu, who's very successful Chinese American entrepreneur. So I think with all these very diverse group of investors supports me in every aspect. So I guess in that sense, I'm very lucky because not too many to-be founders are able to curate such a great investor team.
Got it. Definitely. I mean, finding the right investors is akin to finding potential wife or husband, so some say. So, not sure if you can share any more details, but are you looking to fundraise anytime soon, or what are future plans for growth?
We starting from 2017, we start to feel we find the so-called product market fit. And so for the 2018, we have 4 times growth in terms of our project-based model, and we build our SaaS business model from 0 to 1. So in 2019, this year, we're looking for at least 3 to 4 times growth in terms of project base, and then we're looking for 5 times growth in terms of the SaaS model. So we're definitely looking for partners that could help us in terms of financial. I'm also looking for investors that who could understand our value.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's this kind of investors happen to be around, I'm more than happy to discuss the possibilities of having another round of fundraising.
Got it. Okay. Well, thanks, Fanlosh, for that. It seems like things are going quite well, and really wish you best of luck with further development of your product, but also your team.
Well, thank you very much, Adam. It's always good to talk to you.
Yep. Thank you.